General Dr. Rajan Kochhar for sharing that insight. Now we move on. A U.S. appeals court has ruled on Monday that President Trump can deploy National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon, despite opposition from the state's governor and attorney general. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals have concluded that the president lawfully federalized Oregon's National Guard, allowing for 200 troops to be sent to protect federal buildings amid ongoing protests. Governor Tina Kotek and Oregon's Attorney General has called the decision a dangerous erosion of constitutional rights, with the Attorney General labeling it as an abuse of power. The deployment comes as protests primarily against U.S. immigration and customs enforcement have led to incidents of scattered violence in Portland. Critics argue that the federal response is an overreaction and part of a broader pattern of federal troop deployments to other places. This decision is raising concerns about the militarization of U.S. cities. Protests have continued outside U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland, Oregon on Monday. Protests have continued outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE facility in Portland, Oregon on Monday, as demonstrators appeared ready for a possible National Guard deployment. This comes after a U.S. appeals court ruled in favor of allowing President Trump's decision to send troops to the city. Protesters expressed frustration and concerns over the situation, while some hoped for local Oregon-based National Guard troops rather than outside forces. Let's listen into what they have said.
Probably, I guess anybody being around the military is probably going to be afraid. You know, we don't know what the military is going to do or something like that. But as long as we keep our discipline and respect towards the military, I believe that they're going to keep their respect and discipline towards us. Same mutual respect. Of course, I think on both sides we have oddballs here and there, right? On both sides, but as long as we can be peaceful people, we are great.
I mean, Portland's up for the challenge, as you can see. We're ready to do anything it takes.
Now for this discussion, we welcome back retired Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. Thank you very much for joining us again and staying with us. Now, how does this deployment of federal troops to cities like Portland affect the U.S.'s public perception of government's authority and civil liberties from the citizens' perspective?
Frankly speaking, I'm surprised that this decision has come, that these federal forces can be deployed in Portland, Oregon, all these places, because there is no such national emergency there. We must respect the independence of these states because they have governors and mayors there who govern the state and who have a legitimate force with them to monitor the law and order or to safeguard the law and order. And there is no such national emergency right now which would suggest that federal forces can be deployed in these regions. Some time back also we discussed this issue, and
Yes.
I was of the firm opinion that there is a need to have a clear demarcation between the federal authority and the state authority. And also what one is observing is that these incidents are being exercised in areas which are being ruled by the Democrats. So there is a clear political intention which is coming into play, that why the Republican ruled states are not being targeted. And a simple example for the viewers also to relate it to India also, that the center only intervenes in the state affairs when it feels that there is a
We might be facing some technical issues with the connection of our guest. That was Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing that insight throughout our news. Now we move on to our next news. Qatar has accused Israel